Good morning, good evening, good night, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's your nighttime, right time DJ Music, here with another episode of The Chop Shop. Y'all see what's on the screen right here in front of you. Big shout out to Dr. Rashad Richey of TYT Networks. If you happen to subscribe to his channel, folks, I suggest you go over Indisputable and subscribe to the man's channel. He is one of the true champions of these here internet streets. I'll just put it that way. Always on point, always calling out, I wish you Karen would. In this case, I wish you Karen would talk to one of my kids the way she's talked to this 5-year-old kid. And what we gonna cover, folks, is white woman who hurled the N-word at black 5-year-old starts a fundraiser, and the bigots donate. Like I said, folks, and I'll hold true to this, America is founded on racism. The whole of America is a racist country. Why do I say that? Because it was not everybody in America that wanted to free the slaves. There was only a handful of white Americans that thought what was going on to black folks back in the times of slavery was unjustified, was unmoral, was ungodly, and they spoke up about it. There was only a handful of white folks doing Reconstruction. There was only a handful of white folks during the Trail of Tears. There was only a handful of white folks during the Civil Rights era. There was only a handful of white folks doing mass incarceration, black codes, so on and so forth. When white America decided to lay their racist hand down on somebody. I also said that just like with every great recipe that's sent down from and passed down from generation to generation to generation, racism is the same thing, folks. It never is dead. It's only dormant. A lot of y'all folks want to say, well, Donald Trump is the reason for racism. No, he's not. Donald Trump did not build this country. Donald Trump is just a manifestation, another manifestation of this country as a whole. I should not have to say I'm not talking about all white people, because y'all know I'm not. I'm talking about white people like this one that's right here on the screen. I would think it's all right to call a 5-year-old black child the N-word, and then turn around, cry victim, and then raise thousands and thousands of dollars because of her grown-ass actions. Like I said, this is the whole of America, folks, whether y'all want it, whether you want to own up to it or not. Racism is I didn't say prejudice, I said racism. Because in order for you to attack a 5-year-old, you got to believe that that 5-year-old child is beneath you. You have not, and I say this again, and I'll say it over and over and over until it finally sinks into some of y'all folks' brain. They, folks like this white lady right here, do not see our children as children. Go back into the annals of history and you'll find such a thing called the Casual Killing Act. To where probably as white women like this, if it was during this time, she would have beat that 5-year-old child to death. And there was a law, because the child so-called was stealing or acting out, that she would have been justified by beating that child to death. Or if she hit the child with enough force to kill the child, she would not be charged. It's called the Casual Killing Act. Well, look it up for yourself if you think I'm pulling your leg. A lot of folks think, well, we had a black president. Well, we had black joint chiefs of staff. So that means the country is not racist. Because you saw what happened as soon as Trump's administration took over. You see what's happening right now. The majority of people that work for the federal government is black. Look for yourself. Matter of fact, I'll show you a little bit later on. But the majority of people that work for the United States federal government that Trump is now gutting and Elon Musk is now gutting, that Anton Daniels, and we're going to talk about Anton Daniels this weekend, that Anton Daniels is over there big upping Elon Musk and Donald Trump, Doge, for all these cuts. Don't understand that the people that they're targeting is the folks that look like myself, Dr. Richey, your mom, my mom. And see, the thing about it is white folks did not believe. White folks did not believe that these cuts so-called Doge was doing was going to affect them. That's why they was okay with it. But anyway, folks, enough said. Let's get to this video.
A racist white mom calls out a black 5-year-old child, calls the child the N-word, okay? She is now raising hundreds of thousands of dollars from bigots across the land. Here it is.
You call him a child? Call the child? It is my own business. You call him? Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Say. Somebody dig into it. That little kid, you call him the little child?
Okay, folks, let me stop that right there. Let me explain something to you. There's two races right there we see. One in training, and it's one that's already been trained. Because everything that mother is saying, she's going to teach that child. That child is going to turn out just like her. That child is going to turn out just like the daddy, just like her mama. Just like her mama, just like her grandmother. I guarantee you, every woman in that house or from that family has the same mentality towards black people, because it's passed down from generation to generation to generation. Just like your sweet old grandma's apple pie recipe, or for us, that macaroni and cheese casserole that your grandma made that got passed down. I should make them candied yams that got passed down. Racism gets passed down just like that, folks. Guarantee it. Subliminally, while that baby was in the back seat of that car, and while that mama was ranting on the phone, probably to her husband or anybody that was listening, the baby was soaking all of that shit in. Let's go.
Are you about to hit him? You chasing him?
He took my son's stuff.
So,
and that's what I meant by the Casual Killing Act, folks. If this would have been back to the time where that Casual Killing Act would have still been invoked, she would have beat that child to death. Because you heard that man say, was you gonna run up on where was you gonna hit him? And the only reason she didn't, folks, because it's now against the law. That's the only reason she did not hit that child. I can guarantee you that.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old the N-word.
That's what he's gonna act
That's what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech.
Put up the picture full mass. Let's deal with this. A white woman was caught on camera calling a 5-year-old black child the N-word. This was on a Minnesota playground. She raises over $260,000 after.
Are any of you folks surprised that this is Minnesota? Shout out to all my friends that live in Minnesota. Big shout out to CC. You know what I'm talking about. You live in Minnesota, folks. If you go into the annals of my YouTube streams, you'll see there's a name, a dude called Marvin Hayes. I did a piece on him called Marvin Hayes. Excuse me. Marvin was wrongfully convicted at the age of 16 years old for a crime he did not commit. Marvin just got out of jail probably about a year and a half ago. If it had not been for the conviction of his sisters and the folks that loved him, Marvin would probably still be in jail. So I'm not surprised that this is in Minnesota. I'm not surprised, like Derek Chauvin, like the kid that got shot in the back 7 times by a policeman. I'm not surprised that this is in Minnesota. I'm not surprised at all. Let's go.
After the backlash from her insane, extreme, bigoted, and racist behavior. The witness alleged in a separate video that the child has autism. McWhorter said that after he stopped recording, the woman reportedly hurled more slurs and then told him and his wife that they should leave the country. Put her up again. As I've said before, the isms all run together. They work as a team, especially when being spewed like this. So these reports have not yet been independently verified. So I'm going to get into it. The woman in the video has been identified as Shiloh. She has created an online fundraiser seeking $250,000 to relocate out of fear of retaliation after receiving threats in response to the viral video.
Okay, Miss Lady, and I'll say this to you with all sincerity. You got what you asked for. Did you not expect any backlash at all? Did you not expect? See, this is the problem with what we talk about, especially in the YouTube streets, where folks like to throw rocks and hide their hand, and then want to claim victim when they get called out about the shit that they do. You called a 5-year-old child, and you accused the 5-year-old child of stealing, and you called this 5-year-old child a racist epithet. Did you not expect the good white American to come after you? Did you not expect the good black Americans to come after you? Because there'll be some people that y'all gonna find out a little bit later on that really believes what she did was right. They'll even, I guarantee you, some of the people that donated to this cause were black. I'll bet money on it.
She also claims in the video that her hateful outburst was due to the child allegedly stealing from her. Now, let's talk about this as if we are adults.
Okay, before Dr. Richey gets into his explanation, let's talk about this as if we are adults, because it's obvious that there's going to be some people who are going to disagree with Dr. Richey and some people that's going to agree with me. So let me give my take on it first. First of all, a 5-year-old does not have the mental, what do you call it, to think about stealing. They don't have the cognitive reason to think about what they're doing is considered stealing. They don't. In order to steal something, first of all, again, I'm not one of these guys that sat down and read all these different law books or set up in years of college and study and all that. So again, I'm only giving my rough fingers of what I do know about human psychology. And as a grown man that has children, I know that my 5-year-old did not have the concept of stealing. They had the concept of curiosity. They had the concept of, oh, look at that. Whether it's good or bad, whether it be a piece of candy or whether it be something on the stove that they shouldn't touch. We have our children go through stages. At some point in time, we have to go through the terrible twos. And we know that means terrible twos means that any and everything that they can fit in their mouth, going in their mouth. They like to touch shit, so we get the little plug guards. We put the lamps up a little bit higher. And when they start getting into the 3s and 4s and 5s, we start making sure that we move things out the way, like car keys. Making sure that we lock the door, double lock the doors. Making sure that before we go to bed, we check the oven things on the knobs on the stove to make sure that our children that went into the kitchen, or we go into the bathroom and look at the toilet to make sure that they didn't overstuff the toilet with toilet tissue. Those are the things that people do, grown folks do, watching 5-year-olds. They don't accuse a 5-year-old stealing. Not unless something is mentally wrong with you or you have a literal hatred for someone that looks different from you. She don't seem to be out of her mental capacities, do she, folks?
The child is being blamed for the adult's racism. Let's start there. Who's childish here? Number two, she's claiming the child stole from her, not in America. If you're in Minnesota, the child did not steal from you. Let's go to La La Land and play as if a child took something from you. Did the child form mens rea, which means the prerequisite to commit said crime? No.
Now again, folks, like I said, I didn't go to college, so I would have not used that term, mens rea. But I'm sure for all you folks that want to call out me or call out Dr. Richey, you will go and look up what mens rea means. And you'll see by law that the child could not do that. A 5-year-old does not have that. That's why if a 13-year-old, in this example, if a 13-year-old does a crime, that's why they have to say, we're going to have to charge this kid as an adult. The kid has to do something so hideous that his crime warrants that him to be charged as an adult, i.e. unaliving somebody. Have y'all ever known a 5-year-old to unalive somebody? Any of y'all? Can anybody find me in the history somewhere where a 5-year-old took the life on purpose of anybody?
You must have the mindset, understanding that what you're doing is a crime in the first place. The way we would judge this is to look at it from the perspective of the 5-year-old. That's how the courts would see it. That's how any authority would see it. That's how most human beings on the planet Earth would see it, but not this individual here. This individual believes that if a 5-year-old may have picked something up, even if it's true, the narrative that she's saying, if a 5-year-old picks something up, that 5-year-old is worthy of hate speech from an adult, a responsible adult, who decided to act in a way that was contrary to common sense, decency, and respect. There are many jurisdictions, Georgia is one of them, where if you even use profanity in front of a minor, that is a chargeable offense, let alone use it against one.
So my question to the folks is, if Minnesota is one of those states, why has not this woman been brought up on charges? I'm sure by now someone has looked up the statute. One of the do-gooders that know what this woman done is wrong. Not the folks that's about to donate to her funds here. The fuck around and find out funds. I'm wondering if Minnesota is one of those states. If you curse near a child or at a child, an underage child, especially a tender child of 5 years old, is there a charge for that? Whether it's a misdemeanor where you have to pay a fine or do some public service or go to some anger managed classes or something. Something should be done about this. I wonder if anybody's calling for that instead of rewarding her for berating what possibly could be, well, the reports allegedly, a 5-year-old autistic child, which doubles it in the field of this some fucked up shit here.
So she wrote this. Put it up. This is what's on her GoFundMe. I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was, Wait a minute. Why do you put the N word here again, Shiloh?
I can tell you why, Dr. Richey. Because the GoFundMe folks didn't allow that. That's why. It was already implied. But they could not she could not put the word there, or that would be going against their community standards. So she could not type it in. But I'll bet you, folks, I'll bet you if you look in the comment sections, it's in there. And what I don't understand about GoFundMe is if they know that this particular GoFundMe is raised under racist conditions, why are they even allowing it to be raised? Why are they even allowing it to where she's getting to the point to where eventually she's going to cash out? Again, here is corporate America rewarding white women for their bad behavior.
If you believe a 5-year-old is the N-word and you're asking people to help you, do you realize that you are the problem? And then here's the other product. The people who made the damn contributions. Let's put it back up. She goes on to say, another man who we recently found out has a history with law enforcement proceeded to record me and follow me to...
Don't that's what they always say? Isn't that what the racists always come out with? Who we recently found out has a history with law enforcement. So let's drag him into the mix. Let's drag his name into the mud too for your bad behavior. Instead of the folks celebrating a grown man for standing up to a racist woman berating a child, y'all gonna make him to be the bad guy too. That's America for you. This is America, ladies and gentlemen. Don't make no mistake about it. This is America. I've been around here long enough to know that this is America.
To my car. He then posted these videos online, which has caused my family and myself great turmoil. My SSN has been leaked. My address and phone number have been given out freely. My family members are being attacked. My eldest child may not be going back to school. Even where I exercise has been exposed. Put it back up.
Madam, this is where fuck around and find out comes into question. Comes into play, I should say. You fucked around and find out that there are still some good people in the United States that don't think like you. That know that this video is not directed at them. There's some good white Americans, and there's some good black Americans, there's some good Asian Americans, there's some good Mexican Americans that know that this video is not intended at them. It's intended for folks like you. That believe that the color of your skin gives you autonomy and a greater place in the social being as what we construct of what we call human beings, not realizing that the construct of race was created by somebody who looks like you. So of course, if I create something, what am I going to put on top? The people that most look like me. What am I going to put on bottom? The folks that look the furthest away from me. Folks, go look up for yourself. Who created the construct of race? For a lot of y'all think race has been around forever. For a lot of y'all think the word Caucasian has been around forever. For a lot of y'all think that when y'all hear somebody say the Caucasus Mountains, y'all think that's where actual white people were from. Well, no. The Caucasus Mountains is a beautiful place. It has valleys, it has peaks, but if on the opposite side of the Caucasus Mountains, it also has a dry desert climate. It also is kind of uninhabitable. And that's why white folks sought refuge up there, so they would be able to hide away from animals that would literally eat them, caves. So when you hear people say the Caucasus Mountains and they picture this place called Shangri-La, that's not where they came from. They came from the other side of that. Look it up for yourself.
But one person who is to blame for your family having to endure the publicity is you. There is no one else at fault here but you. You created this situation. You manifested this situation. I know the universe gave you grace. It is more than likely you have been in this situation before and never got exposed, but you got exposed this time. And instead of owning up to what you have done against a 5-year-old child, you have blamed everybody in the world but yourself, guaranteeing that you have learned nothing and you will experience a lesson similar to this again. It is not the 5-year-old's fault that your family is suffering. It is yours. It is not the 5-year-old's fault that you decided to utilize the N-word and double down when confronted. It is yours. It is not the man who followed you. It is you.
That's right, folks. I agree 100%, Dr. Richey. It's not the child's fault. It's not the person that filmed you fault. It's not the baby that you're holding's fault. Actually, it's not even your racist parents that taught you that, because you should have known better now. You're a grown woman with children, so you should have grown up out of there. If somebody teaches you something, you now have a responsibility as a grown adult to understand and discern right from wrong. So you're making a conscious choice to be racist, is my point. You're making a conscious choice to hate someone that does not look like you. It's nobody's fault but your own. You can't blame other folks. You can't blame anyone, especially not the 5-year-old. That is the most innocent person in this whole video.
Nobody else. You. Tizzy and our dear brother talks about the type of people making these contributions. Here it is.
So she's raised over $300,000, and she's upped the goal to $1 million. And the comments that people are leaving with their donations are about it.
Okay, I want y'all to, before Tizzy N gets to it, if you don't follow him on Instagram and TikTok, I suggest you to do that. I think he has a YouTube page as well, but I know I follow him on Instagram and TikTok. And a lot of these stories like this, he covers in detail from start to finish. He makes sure that somebody like this Karen right here, this racist Karen right here, gets exposed. They show where they work at. They tell them exactly where. And listen, these folks right here and the people that he has in his camp, this Tizzy N folks, you do not want to do something in public and be on the wrong side of it, because they will get you. Big shout out to Tizzy N again. If you're on Instagram and or some of the other social media follow places, make sure you follow this dude. But I want y'all to notice one thing here. This 1488, there's a white man out there that had the conscience of mind to call himself the average white man, which leads to my point. The average white man thinks just like this. The average white man thinks just like that. You did the right thing standing up for your son. Your bravery is sorely needed in these times. Hopefully, you can move to a nicer neighborhood, one of free of these savages. Only worse, he had 4 hearts for that. For $1,488 he donated to be a bigot. Go ahead and finish, Tizzy.
As disgusting as you would imagine that would be. The N-word, used a lot. As Jolly pointed out in this video, one guy gave $1,488 just so it could be a 1488. For those who don't know, that's a big dog whistle with the white supremacists. 14 being the 14 words we must secure for the white race, blah, blah, blah. And the 88, H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. H as in Schmittler, she's made being a horrible racist who wanted to pursue and potentially assault a child lucrative.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. You can't say no, you couldn't say it no better than that. She turned her racist rant into a lucrative $1 million cash in. She got $1 million for being a racist in public. She got $1 million, or possibly could get $1 million. But she's well on her way. At this point in time, she was already at $300,000. And you know there's gonna be some anonymous donors. You know that. But it was all over the news. Black folks was talking about the shit when the preacher said, lock the doors, lock the doors. Niggas called him out with a passion, didn't they? Where y'all at on this? Angry man. I gotta call out my dude, Cellulite. Gotta call out my girl, Raw B. Where y'all at on this? I gotta call out my man, Sharon Bracey. Where you at on this? I gotta call out my man, Brownsville. Where you at on this? I gotta call out one of my arch enemies, Big J. Where you at on this? I gotta call you out, Anton Daniels. Where you at on this? I gotta call you out, Beano Nation. Where y'all at on this? Angry man. Where y'all at on this? BGS, I thought y'all was protecting the neighborhoods. I thought y'all was about the little black boys. Here's clearly a white woman berating a little black boy for stealing something. Dr. Richey promptly and correctly told you that couldn't be. Where y'all at on this? Why we ain't holding no streams on this? Why we ain't holding a GoFundMe for the little black boy? They could possibly have autism. This is Autism Awareness Month. Because I saw my homegirl Mahogany Roots post that on her stream. It's Autism Awareness Month, isn't it? May absolutely is, isn't it? Why ain't nobody talking about that? I plan to. I got something special coming up. But let's finish this.
So, racists, bigots are the ones supporting this madness. Why? Because they like the fact you called a child the N-word, nothing else. They don't care about you or your family. They're not concerned about your safety. They're not concerned about you learning a lesson and becoming a better person. They're not concerned about any of that. They just really like the entertainment that you've provided by calling a child the N-word. How cowardly of you and them.
Yes, indeed. Y'all remember back in the day where they used to take the pictures? They dress up in their Sunday best and take pictures of the local lynching? Y'all remember that? How they would, y'all all know what happened to Nat Turner after he was unalived, right? Y'all like me using that word. Y'all know what happened to him, right? They ate him. Y'all know what happened to some of the slaves, right? That they made shoes. They made chair stuffings out their hair. Y'all do know all of that it did exist back in those times, right? So for all you folks that go around saying that the slave trade wasn't real, that black folks, the antebellum slavery was a little bit better than regular slavery, that to get over slavery, why would you, or how can we, when this is right here in front of us?
Every single one of you. A 5-year-old child. Let me say thank you to the man who recorded this and attempted to talk some sense into you. Let me say a holistic apology to the child and the family connected to this child who will have to endure this. They are the true victims. This child is the true victim. You are not. You are the one who caused the offense. That's it. The narrative will not change here. The president of the NAACP, Rochester branch, has urged community members to reach out to the organization if they know the identity of the family, to identify the family of the impacted child. We want.
And if anyone does find out, if anyone decides to do some research on this, or if I find out, I will post it on my community tab. And I can tell you this, I will make a donation. I hope some of you folks will too. If I found out the correct information of where you can make a donation out, or even if I have to set up some kind of donation fund myself, I'll be more than happy to. Because just like this racist bigot cashed off being a bigot, I want this family of this possible autistic child to cash up off being a victim. So if I found out that information, folks, I will pass it on to you, all right?
Want that information as well. Quote, "This is deeply disturbing and unacceptable," was written on the Facebook page. Quote, "We are here to ensure that this gets addressed properly." There's another thing. Why would an account allow for money to be raised anyway for assaulting or calling a child the N-word?
I asked that in the beginning myself there, Dr. Richey. Why would the folks at GoFundMe even allow this account to even exist? That is my point. And as I was listening to you earlier, I thought the same thing. Why is this account even existing?
Why would that be a thing? Okay, Jasmine, we're not done with this story at Indisputable, but for today, that is the up-to-date report. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, you really have to be a really sad, angry person to knowingly and willingly and proudly give money to someone who is unapologetically racist, to a child, no less. Like, how you said they were cowards. Like, how big of a coward do you have to be to bully a child and to feel threatened by a child? But at some point, you know, we here at Indisputable and at TYT, we have to accept that nothing that we say here is going to shame these people away from doing what they're doing and believing the things that they believe in, right? The woman said she just called the child out for what he was, and now she's making money off of her racism, her overt racism, and somehow she's acting as though she is the one who has been victimized. And I always attempt to at least, you know, get into the minds of people like this, even though admittedly I often fall short, because I don't know how anyone can behave this way or support this kind of behavior. But I imagine at least some of this goes beyond the overt racism, not from the people that we heard in the GoFundMe, but maybe for some people. And I would imagine that in the best case scenario, at least some of those people who are donating to this woman do it because they tell themselves that they believe in and protect freedom of speech, even though hate speech is not protected speech. Or maybe they think they're fighting back against cancel culture because they hate cancel culture. Or maybe they really are just trying to stick it to the libs. But let's be real, most of these people are just flat out racist.
And I'll end it exactly like that, Miss Lady. There's no other excuse that you could come up except to call them exactly what they are. They are racist. There's no other way to say it. There's no other way that you can call it. There's no way that, no matter how you slice it, dice it, cut it up. The people that are donating to this cause are donating because a white woman decided to accuse a 5-year-old child of stealing. Let's take the color out of it. You're donating to that. Now let's put the color back into it. Now, this is where the racist aspect comes into it, Miss Lady. The reason why she is donating money, or they are donating money, and the reason why she opened up the fund is because she said this little black kid was stealing from her. And white America is rushing to her defense. Like I said, Sweet Polly Purebred had a problem, and it was one of those savages, or one of their savage children. Because like I said before, Miss Lady, and anybody else who's the sound of my voice, they don't see our children as children. They never have, and they never will. Racism has never been dead. It's always permeated as part of the United States of America's culture. It'll always be here. There's only one way to get rid of racism, and that is for it to completely die off. But as long as you have women like that racism was taught to her, but it's being taught to her children, It'll probably be taught to their children. It'll always be here. Racism is about as they say, it's about as American as baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, Chevrolet, and shotgun trucks in the back. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll be at you again this weekend. Yeah, definitely this weekend. We're going to do us a loose nigga roundup. I think y'all going to enjoy this one, all right? Who is Anton Daniels? That's where we're going to start at. Who is Anton Daniels? I don't know if some of your folks was in my last stream, but I said sometimes, you know, when you go fishing, if you keep putting your fish if you keep putting your bait on the line and you drop it at them little fish, you clean it off. I get tired of that. Because like this young lady said here just now, and I'll tie it up with this, just like this young lady just said, there's some people, no matter what you say, or no matter what you do, or no matter how much you point out to them, they're going to say that this person is a godsend, that this guy here is a master teacher, or this guy here can teach me about how to make millions and millions of dollars. I'm going to ask all of y'all niggas over there, the 2,700 people that I saw supporting Anton Daniels this morning, how many of y'all made any money from Anton Daniels on the reality? But how many of y'all gave Anton Daniels some money this morning? Nigga ain't got to go to work. All he got to do is fire up a stream 2-3 hours, couple hours here, couple hours there. He done made $1,000 in a day. Add that up, folks. If Anton Daniels makes $1,000 every time he goes live, 3 times a day, 7 days a week, add it up, and then we're going to talk about how much money Anton Daniels is sucking out your pockets and then giving you nothing in return. Nothing but a bunch of hot air and nothing but a bunch of shit that you couldn't go out and do for your damn self. But that's going to be our loose nigga roundup this weekend. Anton Daniels. Who is Anton Daniels? Anton Daniels ain't no smarter than me, and I'm going to prove that. I'm going to prove that Anton Daniels can't give you no better advice, financial advice, than I can. I'm going to prove that. And in my proof of that, make sure y'all hit my fucking Cash App. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. With that, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. Remember, grace a day costs you absolutely nothing. Y'all be cool, and I'll see y'all tomorrow around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock Eastern.